friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about supply and demand. Now I've been getting a lot of people talking about, because they'll see my videos on the vacuum sealing in jars, and I talk about the tops like I have here, the Food Saver tops, or even the brake bleeders. And I put the links to all these things in my description box, but when they go to the link, they find that it is currently unavailable, is sold out. When that happens, what you can do is, once you go through that link, simply copy the name of the item and then put that into your Amazon browser, and then see if you can find another that is similar. It might be the same exact thing being sold from, it could still be coming from Amazon or from another seller, or something that is similar, sort of like the brake bleeder. This one is a little bit different than the first one I bought, but I did get this one as a backup because I thought it would be a good idea. And I did the same thing with these. I had to buy them one at a time because when I went to buy this wide mouth one, the regular one wasn't available. Right after I bought this one, it sold out. But then I went back in about a week or two and found a regular one available. Again, not in stock yet, but I was able to at least pre-order it. And as far as the brake bleeder goes, I've had a couple of people ask this question, is they get it in and then they're a little confused because there's so many parts to it. For it to be a brake bleeder, it has to have all these parts, because this isn't made for vacuum sealing. This is made for bleeding brakes. And my other one has actually been used to do that when Patrick needed to do some work on our Toyota pickup. Most of the models are pretty much the same. This looks a little bit different than the first one I have, but it's virtually the same. So what I did on a more recent video about vacuum sealing is I actually put links to 3 different but similar brake bleeders on Amazon. So if one sold out, there was still others that people could go through. But again, even if all 3 of those sell out, just go through that link, copy the description and put it in your Amazon browser and see if you can find more like that. That is assuming, of course, you're purchasing from Amazon. For those who like to help support us by buying through our Amazon links, as long as you go through that link, we still get credit for it, even if you have to go searching to find a different item. Anything you buy during that session, even if it has nothing to do with the link you went through, still gets credited to us. And so that really helps us out a lot. Now, coming back to supply and demand. When you hear me talking about a lot of these items in some of the videos, especially if you go back to older videos before it was a problem, you'll hear me talking about this and people go in there and say, oh, it's all sold out. Don't give up looking. It doesn't have to be on Amazon. You can look around on Amazon. If you can't find it there, look in other places. Because what we see happening is, because of the state that we're in right now, more people are looking at growing gardens and putting up food and learning how to make things from scratch. So because of that, not only are we seeing things like isopropyl alcohol and peroxide and Clorox wipes, which I've never used, but anyway, things like that constantly going out of stock, or even toilet paper still for some people. Now we're seeing a lot of other things going out of stock. And so you have to keep hunting around. And just because you don't find it at whatever place you're looking in the first time, keep checking back. Such as with Amazon, if you keep looking back for these things, eventually you will find it. But I would say check every single week until you do. That's what I did, just so I could have a backup set, or even share the set with my daughter-in-law who's thinking about getting into doing this same kind of stuff. That was another reason I wanted spare sets of everything. Whether something breaks or just gives up on me, I can have a backup, or I can share it with some family members who are getting into food preservation. Now here's what I see happening. For example, yeast. Now I have a bunch of yeast that's packed tightly like this that I bought years ago, and it is still good. Thankfully, I had bought a lot. Yes, I do have a video out on how you can use your fermentation starter as a natural yeast for bread, and it works pretty good, but the results vary, at least for me, from time to time. One day I can use it and I get a good fluffy bread, another day I don't. So I still like going back to the powder yeast, the dry yeast. To me, it's always worked best. I do also know there's other ways that you can do it as well. I still like having yeast on hand. It's a little bit easier to come by than it was about a month or two ago, but I noticed you still can't get it in Costco. So the price is double than it was, but it's come, it did actually triple and quadruple there for a while. It's come back down to at least double. I went ahead and purchased more. What I did was on Amazon, I found a 2-pack of 2 pounds each of yeast. So that's 4 pounds of yeast, and that was the Red Star yeast. That was the one that Costco used to carry. And that was the best price I could find because it worked out to be about $6.75 a pound. And so it's still more than what it used to be, but at least not double and more like we're finding in buying single packs like this. And what I recommend is if you can get that, I'll go ahead and put that link down below. Again, it doesn't mean it'll be available by the time this video publishes and you go to try to click through that link, but at least you can go through that link and do some more hunting around, and hopefully you can still get it for the price I got it for. Personally, at this point, the way I see things going, I doubt we're going to see the price of yeast going back down to what it was. I think there's a lot of things that comes to food and food storage, we're not going to see drop in price back to where it was. So my recommendation personally, I could be wrong on this, but I would think it would be best to go ahead and stock up on what you can. Still do your best to find the best price out there. But because I don't see the price of jars and stuff like that coming down anytime soon, I would recommend getting what you can while you can, because canning jars is another thing that is hard for people to come by because, again, it has to do with food preservation and food storage. Now for us, where we live, even though we live in a small remote town, and a lot of people might complain about the high prices of some things, well, yes, of course, some things are going to be higher in price here because this stuff has to be trucked in from quite a distance, and that's more fuel, that's more time for the drivers. Of course we're going to pay more. It's either we pay more here or we have to drive at least an hour to find something cheaper. And then what did you just do? You just put more wear and tear on your rig. You just cost yourself more money in fuel. It's unless we have to go into town to do something else because we can't get it done here, then it just makes sense for us to do our shopping here. And for what we can't get here, we order online. I wanted to throw that in there because I think it's an important point. Don't forget to look locally. Just because you might assume, especially if you live in a small remote town, that it's more expensive, you may end up getting a better deal and you're supporting local businesses at the same time. So here's the deal. I was able to find quart jars for much less than I could find anywhere online. The quart wide mouth jars right here in my own town. Yes, they were a few dollars more than they were the last time I purchased them new, because for the past several years I've been picking them up at garage sales, which is not happening this year. There's hardly anyone doing garage sales this year, and the couple that I was able to stop at had nothing like that. Stuff like that is just selling out fast. Amazon has the worst price when it comes to canning jars. So even though if you went through our Amazon links and bought the canning jars through there, we could get credit for it, I recommend don't. Go somewhere else and keep shopping around. Start with your local stores. You might be able to get the best price on your canning jars there. Or if your town is doing garage sales, look there. It's just not happening here. And we usually have one of the best towns for garage sales, but here it's been a very sad year as far as that goes. But if you're having them, look, because maybe some people are still not quite waking up to the importance of putting up food or canning, and you might still be able to find canning jars there for the best price. But if not, then look at your local stores. I would think that just like with us, you might be able to get a better price than them than you can online. So now that's just talking about a few items. We're seeing all kinds of things like freezers and more that you either can't get, like the fabrics I used to be able to buy through Amazon through certain stores, I no longer can get. But thankfully I found fabric.com and I'm able to get fairly decent prices, at least the same prices there as I was once able to get at Amazon. And plus I can get a little bit of a discount if I order 2, 3, or 4 yards of something at a time, so that also helps. But I see the same thing about seeds. I think we're going to continue to see more shortages of seeds from like Baker Creek. A lot of seeds were unavailable on Baker Creek this year. A lot of people said that, and I noticed the same thing when I went to look for certain seeds. Now, I recently found some licorice seeds on Etsy. Etsy's a really good place to look for seeds, and I'm not saying that just because we sell our own seeds there, but a lot of other people, let's say you're in the US in particular and you're looking for seeds, if you can't find them at those bigger stores, those bigger places like Baker Creek and whatever, then go to Etsy, look for places, specifically places within your own country, or if you can, even your own state, that are selling seeds from their own garden. You're going to be more apt to find good organic heirloom seeds if you go that route. And I recommend going heirloom, not hybrid seeds. You want seeds that when it produces its fruit, you can save those seeds and then use them to grow that same fruit again. If you get hybrid seeds, the chances of you being able to do that are going to be slim to none. It's either not going to produce any fruit, or if it does get fruit, it's going to be something that might not be what you wanted. It might not be desirable. So yes, stock up on seeds when they come available. Right now, the variety of herb seeds we have on our store is low because I sold out of all my other seeds, and this year's seeds are still coming in. I have some drying. Hopefully my stinging nettle and valerian will be ready in about a month, maybe 2 months tops. Some other seeds are going to take longer than that, but if you keep watching for them, we will put them up as they come available. Usually late fall and early winter, I have all of the seeds that I'm going to sell for that year are up on my store. But again, I only have a limited supply, and once they're gone for the rest of the year. So if you can't find them through me, then go look at other places. I know Danny and Wanda sell some seeds on their Etsy store, and I believe there's probably some other channels out there that do it as well. So take a look at those and see what you can get, and get stocked up on seeds for the things that you know will grow well in your area and you know your family will eat. This is really important. Just kind of watching how things are going. I don't see the issue with our food supply getting any better. I see it as getting worse. And I've just been I don't want to get too deep into all that here, but I don't want to be a fear monger. I just want people to be as prepared as they can. So again, let me say this because this is about supply and demand. The reason supply is low is because demand is high. And a lot of manufacturers, a lot of stores are having a hard time keeping up on the demand, to the point that now even the brake bleeders are keep going out of stock. I don't think they're going to be that hard to find. I think you just have to keep checking back or finding a new place. Even just looking in your local automotive store or automotive section of your variety store, you should be able to find one. But if you don't give up. They'll be available at some point, or just keep looking in other places. Back to the Amazon thing I wanted to mention, because I'll get a lot of people that will come in and say, stop promoting Amazon, or Amazon is evil and I'll never buy from Amazon. And you know what? I understand that. And I understand the various reasons why. But I think one thing that people either forget or do not know is, like I saw somebody say that Amazon sells cheap Chinese junk. Well, yeah, they do. But they also sell handmade stuff from people. Like let's say you live in the US, because that's where I live, you can buy handcrafted US made items through Amazon. A lot of people don't realize that different individual people, just like I have an Etsy store, some people have an Amazon store. I could do the same thing on Amazon that I'm doing through Etsy. I haven't chose to go that route. but I highly doubt that Amazon's cut that they take is any worse than what Etsy takes. Etsy takes a pretty good cut of what we sell as well. Actually, the way we get the most out of our sales is when we sell directly to people using PayPal. PayPal also takes a cut, but it's not as big as Etsy or Amazon. So just realize that Amazon, though it may have its dark side, so does Etsy, so does PayPal, so do many other places, so does Walmart and Target and all of these places. So we can take the moral high ground on things, and that's good, but you can still support your local or US or your own country, wherever it is that you are, by shopping through Amazon, and also support various different YouTube channels that you like by going through their Amazon links, not just ours, but pretty much every channel out there. I know Mary's Nest has them. I know Danny and Wanda have them, you know, Deep South Homestead, and so many other channels have Amazon links. And so when you go through their links, you're helping to support their channel that way. So when I did that video about, you know, the dishes that I bought and how I'm trying to invest back into our own economy, I bought the dishes through Amazon, but they were also handmade here in the US. So that person has their own website, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they make more money by going through that website than they do through Amazon, because websites cost money to keep up on. And that's why I don't have my own set website, is I don't want the hassle of the time to have to deal with trying to keep up on it and the cost per month I would have to pay just to have a website. It's easier for me to go through Etsy for selling my stuff because they take care of everything, including all the various different kinds of payments for when people don't have PayPal. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to say about Amazon. So obviously you need to make your choices that's best for you. I'm going to encourage, no matter what, to do the best you can to support your local businesses, or at least the businesses within your own country, to help your own country become more autonomous. But that doesn't mean that everything about Amazon or any other stores is all bad. You have to do the best you can to find what you can. Sometimes you may have to compromise a little bit in order to get the things that you need right now. And if you can afford it, get the things you need now and don't put it off. And even if I'm wrong, even if things all do get better and we don't see any food shortages in the future and everything just balances out, it's still better to have yourself in a good position where you're putting up food for yourself in your future, because you never know what's going to happen. We mention this a lot in a lot of our prepping videos, that anything can happen just to you personally in your own little private world that causes you to have to fall back on your food storage and other things. It could be a job loss, which that's happened to a lot of people. It can be a major illness that causes you to be down and unable to work for a long period of time. It could be a death in the family. It could be some kind of natural disaster that just happens on a very local basis, or even something as simple as a blizzard that prevents the trucks from bringing groceries into your local store. That's happened here before. And these are things that can happen to anyone at any time, no matter where you are. Too many people say it can never happen here. Well, it can, or something at least similar that can cause you to be in a situation that you're going to need to have some kind of food storage on hand, or other forms of prepping, like ways to cook, ways to heat, and so on and so forth. Okay, now if you're interested in our other videos about prepping, I have several different prepping playlists, and I will link, I think what I'll do is link to the whole general playlist on preparedness. I know we have well over 1,100 videos up there right now, and at least when I give you a playlist, even if it's a general one, you can scroll through the playlist and then find the videos that would be of interest to you. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that it helps encourage you to do what you can to take care of yourself and your family and to look out for your future, whatever it may come to. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.